I'm David E. from Larkin. I'm resuming my game of The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion from where I left off yesterday. It'll play for 2 hours, and the video should appear around 4 p.m. Now, my active quest right now is entering into the Howling Cave and destroying a cult of necromancers, which is said to be in here. According to the log, after I made the correct offering, Meridia appeared and spoke to me. The data told me of a cult of necromancers in the Howling Cave, who have been stealing from graves in order to raise an undead army. Meridia wants the necromancers killed. I can reach them from a secret door on the back of the cave. So that is my current quest. I've just entered this cave here. From here, the west wheel outside. I've gotten through the preliminary difficulties, and I'm about to enter into the lower galleries here to complete my business. But before I engage in that, and that's part of a quest to, I've been attempting to do holy things, doing pilgrim things around the land, ingratiating myself with all the local cults and local shrines, in order to be deemed a worthy knight and get a suit of armor which would allow me to clear up murders in the temple in Anvil, which apparently have been accomplished with the aid of the return or resurrection of a powerful evil undead being. And I need the approval of the god, after a great and holy work, to gain armor and weapons of an ancient hero who formerly quelled this evil being, to finish the job this time. Hopefully, or at least banish him for another era, another eon. So, it's part of the righteous path I'm now pursuing. I am trying to draw closer to all the gods and all their shrines, and one of my holy tasks to wipe out these necromancers in the Howling Cave. But before I do that, as I said, I'm going to continue with my reading of The Real Berenzia, which I've been reading through in the past day or two. I believe I finished Volume 2 yesterday, so I'm going to read Volume 3 this morning and Volume 4 when I'm done, just before noon. The Real Berenzia, Part 3, Anonymous. For several days, Berenzia felt a weight of sorrow at her separation from her friend, but by the second week out, her spirits began to rise a little. She found that she enjoyed being on the road again, although she missed Straw's companionship more than she would have thought. They were escorted by a troop of Red Guard knights, with whom she felt comfortable, although these were much more disciplined and decorous than the guard of the merchant caravan she had spent time with. They were genial but respectful to her, despite her attempts at flirtation. Damascus scolded her privately, saying his queen must maintain royal dignity at all times. You mean I'm never to have any fun? She inquired petulantly. Ah, not with such as these. And they are beneath you. Graciousness is desired from us. Authority, my lady. Familiarity is not. You remain chaste and modest while you are at the Imperial City. Berenzia made a face. I might as well be back at Darkmoor Keep. Elves are promiscuous by nature, you know. Everyone says so. Everyone is wrong, then. Some are, some aren't. The Emperor and I expect you to display both discrimination and good taste. Let me remind you, Your Highness, that you hold the throne of Mournhold, and not by right of blood, but solely at the pleasure of Tyrus Septim. If he judges you unsuitable, your reign will end ere it begins. He requires intelligence, obedience, discretion, and total loyalty of all his appointees, and he favors chastity and modesty in women. I strongly suggest you model your deportment after our good Durliane, my lady. I just leave you back in Darkmoor, Berenzia snapped, resentfully, offended at the thought of emulating the frigid Durliane in any way. And that is not an option, Your Highness. If you have no use to Septim, he'll see to it that you're no use to his enemies either, the general said portentously. You keep your head on your shoulder, take heed. Let me add that power offers pleasures other than those of carnality and cavorting with base company. He began to speak of art, literature, drama, music, and the grand ball thrown at the Imperial Court. Berenzia listened with growing interest, spurred on not entirely by his threats, but afterward she asked timidly if she might continue her study of magical at the Imperial City. Damascus seemed pleased with this and promised to arrange it. Encouraged, she then said that she noted 3 of the knight's escort were women, and asked she might train little with them just for sake of exercise. The general looked less delighted at this, but gave his consent, though stressing it would only be with the women. The late winter weather held fair, though slightly frosty, for the rest of the journey, so they traveled quickly over firm roads. On the last day of their trip, spring seemed to have arrived at last, but there were hints of a thaw. The road grew muddy underfoot, and everywhere one could hear water trickling and dripping faintly but steadily. It was a welcome sound. And they came to the great bridge that crossed into the imperial city at sunset. The rosy glow turned the stark white marble edifices of the metropolis a delicate pink. It all looked very new and grand and immaculate. A broad avenue led north toward the palace. A crowd of people of all sorts and races filled the wide concourse. Lights winked out in the shops and on in the inns as dusk fell and stars came out singly, then by twos and threes. Even the side streets were broad and brightly illuminated. Near the palace, the towers of an immense mage's guild hall reared to these, while westward the stained glass windows of a huge tabernacle glittered in the dying light. The monk had apartments in a magnificent house 2 blocks from the palace. Past the temple of the one they identified as they passed it, an ancient Nordic cult which Tiber Septim had revived. He said that Berenzia would be expected to become a member, should she prove accessible to the Emperor. The place was quite splendid, although little to Berenzia's taste. The walls and furnishings were done in utter pristine white, relieved only by touches of dull gold, and the floors in dully gleaming black marble. Berenzia's eyes ached for color and the interplay of subtle shading. In the morning, Symmachus and Julian escorted her to the imperial palace. Berenzia noted that everyone they met greeted Symmachus with a deferential respect, and in some cases bordering on obsequiousness. The generals seemed to take it for granted. And they ushered directly into the imperial presence. A morning sun flooded a small room through a large window with tiny panes. Watching over a sumptuously laden breakfast table, and the single man who sat there, dark against the light. He leaped to his feet as they entered and hurried toward them. Symmachus, I was a friend. We welcome your return most gladly. His hand held Symmachus' shoulders briefly, finally halting the deep genuflection the dark elf had been in the process of effecting. Berenzia curtsied as Tiber Septim turned to her. Berenzia, a naughty little runaway. How do you do, child? Here, let us have a look at you. Watch Symmachus. She's charming, absolutely charming. Why have you hidden her from us all these years? Is the light too much, child? So we'd rather hang just of course. He waited aside Symmachus' protest and drew the curtain himself, not troubling to summon a servant. You will pardon us for this discourtesy towards yourselves, our dear guest. We must think of that scarce excuse for hospitality and neglect. But pray join us. There's some excellent nectarines from Black Mars. They settled themselves at the table. Berenzia was dumbfounded, and Tiber Septim was nothing like the grim, grey giant warrior she'd pictured. He was of average height, fully half-head shorter than tall Symmachus, although he was well-knit of figure and lithe of movement. He had a winning smile, bright and neat, piercing blue eyes, and a full head of stark white hair above a lined and withered face. He might have been any age, from 40 to 60, he pressed food and drink upon them, then repeated the question the general had asked her days ago. Why should us hope? Had her guardian been unkind to her? No, Excellency, Berenzia replied. In truth, no, although I fancy so. Symmachus had fabricated the story for her, and Berenzia told it now, although with a certain misgiving. The stable boy Straw had convinced her that her guardian was unable to find a suitable husband for her, and meant to sell her off as a concubine in Rihad, and when the Red Guardian had come, she had panicked and fled with Straw. Tiber Septim seemed fascinated and listened rapidly as she provided details of her life as a merchant caravan escort. Why, it is like a ballad, he said, by the one who had the court bar, said to music. What a charming boy he must have been. General Symmachus said, running stopped in some confusion, then proceeded. He said, well, that I don't look much like a boy. I have grown in the past few months. He lowered her gaze in what she hoped approximated mainly modesty. He's a very discerning fellow, is a loyal friend, Symmachus. I know I've been a very foolish girl, I must crave your pardon and that of my kind guardians. I realized that some time ago. But I too ashamed to go back home, but I don't want to return to Darkmoor now. I long for Mournhold. My soul pines for my own country. Our dear child, you should go home, we promise you. We pray you remain with us a little longer, that you may prepare yourself for the grave and solemn tie which we shall charge you. Berenzia gazed at him earnestly, her heart beating fast. It was all working just as Symmachus had said it would. He felt a warm flush of gratitude towards him, but careful to keep her attention focused on the Emperor. I am honored, Excellency, and wish most earnestly to serve you in this great empire you have built in any way I can. It was a politic thing to say, but to be sure, but Berenzia really meant it. She was awed at the magnificence of the city, and the discipline and order evident everywhere, and moreover excited at the prospect of being a part of it all. She felt quite taken by the gesture. Tiber Septim. After a few days, Symmachus left for Mournhold to take up the duties of a governor until Berenzia was ready to assume the throne, after which he would become her prime minister. Berenzia, with Julian as chaperone, took up residence in a suite of rooms at the imperial palace. Several tutors were provided her, and all the fields deemed seemly for a queenly education. During the time, she became deeply interested in the nautical art, but she found the study of history and politics not at all to her preference. On occasion, she met with Tiber Septim in the palace garden, and he would unfailingly and politely inquire after her progress, and chide her, although with a smile, for his interest in matters of state. However, he was always happy to instruct her on the finer points of magic, and he could make even history and politics seem interesting. They're people, child, not direct facts and dusty volume, he said. After understanding broadened, their discussion grew longer, deeper, more frequent. He spoke to her of his vision of a united Tamriel, each race separate and distinct, but with shared ideals and goals, all contributing to the common real. Something that are universal, shared by all citizens with goodwill, he said. So the one teaches us, we must unite against the malicious and the brutal, the miscreated, the orcs, trolls, goblins, and other worse creatures, and not strive against one another. His blue eyes light up as he stared into his dream, and Brenda was delighted just to sit and listen to him. If he drew closer, the side of her body next to him would glow as if he were a smoldering blaze. As their hands met, she would tingle all over as if his body were charged with a shock spell. One day, quite unexpectedly, he took her face in his hand and kissed her gently on the mouth. She drew back after a few moments, astonished by the violence of her feeling, and he apologized instantly. I mean, we didn't mean to do that. It's just you are so beautiful, dear, so very beautiful. He looked at her with hopeless yearning in his generous eyes. She turned away, tears streaming down her face. Are you angry with us? Speak to us, please. Brenda shook her head. I could never be angry with you, Excellency. I love you. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. We have a consort, he says. She is a good and virtuous woman, the mother of our children and future heirs. We could never put her aside, yet there's nothing between us. There's nothing between us and her, no sharing of the spirit. You'd have us be other than what we are. We are the most powerful person in all of Tamriel, and Brenda, I think I am the most lonely as well. He stood up suddenly. Power, he said, is sublime in him. I try to goodly share of it, for youth and love is the God that only sanctioned him. For you are strong and vigorous and vital more than any man I've ever known. He shook his head vehemently. Today, pal, yet I'm less than I was yesterday, last year, 10 years ago. I feel the sting of my mortality. It is painful. If I can ease your pain, let me. Brenda moved toward him, hands outstretched. No, I will not take your innocence from you. I'm not that innocent. How so? The Emperor's voice suddenly grated harshly, his brows knitted. Brenda's mouth went dry. What had she just said? But she couldn't turn back now. You'd know. There was straw, she told her. I was lonely too, am lonely, and not so strong as you. She got her gaze. She kept her eye down in the back. I guess I'm not worthy, Excellency. No, not so, Brenda. My Brenda cannot last for long. You have a duty toward Longhold and a duty toward the Empire. I'm a toward mine as well. But while we may, shall we share what we have, what we can, and pray the one forgives us our frailty? Cyrus held out his arm, and wordlessly and willingly Brenda stepped into his embrace. You caper on the edge of a volcano, child, Julian admonished as Brenda admired the splendid star sapphire ring Imperial Lover had given her to celebrate their 1-month anniversary. How so? We make one another happy. We harm no one, so Bacchus bade me be discriminating and discreet. Who better could I choose? And we've been most discreet. She seemed like a daughter in public. Cyrus after nightly visits were made through a secret passage that only a few in the palace were privy to. Himself and a handful of trusted bodyguards. He glares over you like a curse. Have you not noticed the coolness of the Empress and her son toward you? Brenda shrugged. Even before she and Septim had become lovers, he received no more from his family than bare civility. Threadbare civility. What matter? It is time who holds the power. But it is his son who holds the future. Don't put his mother up to public scorn, I beg you. Can I help it if that dry stick of a woman cannot hold a husband's interest even in conversation at dinner? And let's just say, in public, that is all I ask. She mattered little, it is true, but her children love her, and you do not want them as enemies. However, such was not long to live. I mean, really, and I meant it quickly to bad Brandy's scout. Humans are all short-lived. Ephemeral, as we of the elder races say, they come and go as the seasons. But the families of the powerful ones live on for a time. You must be a friend to this family if you see a lasting profit from your relationship. How can I make you see truly? You are so young and human as well. If you take heed and wisely, you and Mornhold are like to live to see the fall of Septim's dynasty if indeed it has founded one. Just as you witnessed its rise, it is the way of human history. They ebb and flow like the inconstant tide. The cities and dominions bloom like spring flowers, only to wither and die in the summer sun. The elves endure. We are the year to their hour, a decade to their day. Brenda just laughed. She knew that rumors abounded about her and Tiber Septim. She enjoyed the attention, for all say the Empress and her son seemed captivated by her. Minstrels sang of her dark beauty in her charming way. She was in fashion and in love, and it was temporary. Well, what was not? She was happy for the first time she could remember. Each of her days filled with joy and pleasure, and the nights were even better. What is wrong with me? Brenda lamented. Look, not one of my skirts fit. What's becoming of my waistline? Am I getting fat? Brandy regarded her thin arms and legs and an undeniably thickened weight in the mirror with displeasure. Really shrugged. You appear to be a child, young as you are. A constant pairing with a human has brought you to early fertility. I see no choice for you to speak with the Emperor about it. You are in his power. It would be best, I think, for you to go directly to Mournhold if you would agree to it, and bear the child there. Alone, Brandy placed her hands on her swollen belly, tears forming in her eyes. Everything in her yearned to share the fruit of her love with her lover. He'll never agree to that. He won't be parted from me now. You'll see. Jolene shook her head, although she said no more, looked at sympathy and sorrow at her replaced her usual cool scorn. That night, Brandy told Cybers him when he came to her for the usual assignation. With child, he looked shocked. No, stunned. You're sure of it? But I told Alice not bear at so young an age. Brandy forced a smile. How can I be sure? I'll tell my healer first. The healer, a high elf of middle years, confirmed that Brandy was indeed pregnant. And that's just thing had never before been known to happen. It was a testimony to his excellent exposure, the healer said in a sycophantic tone. Cyberceptum roared in. This must not be, said. Undo it, we command you. Sire, the healer gave him. I cannot, I may not. Of course you can, you confident duller, the Emperor snapped. It is our express wish that you do so. Then saw out with hair, suddenly sat up in bed. No, she screamed, no, what are you saying? Child, Cyberceptum sat down beside her, his voice wearing one of his winning smiles. I'm so sorry, truly, but this cannot be. Your issue would be a threat to my son and his son. I should put it no more plainly than that. The child I bear is yours, she wailed. No, it is now but a possibility. It might be, not yet gifted with soul or quickened and alive. I will not have it, so I forbid it. He gave the healer another harsh stare, and the elf began to tremble. Sire, it is her child. Her children are few among the elves. No open woman conceives more than 4 times. That is very rare. 2 is the usual number. Some bear none, even, and some only 1. If I take this one from her sire, she may not conceive again. You promised us she would not bear to us. We have little faith in your prognostication. Brenda scrambled naked from the bed and ran for the door, not knowing where she was going, although she could not stay. She never reached it. Darkness overtook her. Emotion of pain and a feeling of emptiness, a void where something used to be. Something that used to be alive and now is dead and gone forever. Darlene was there to soothe the pain and clear the blood that still pulled at times between her legs. There was nothing to fill the emptiness. There was nothing to take the place of the void. The Emperor sent magnificent gifts and vast arrangements of flowers. He came on short visits, always well attended. Brandy received his visits with pleasure at first. But Cyberceptum came no more at night, and after some time, nor did she wish him to. Some weeks passed, and when she was completely physically recovered, Drillian informed her that the Mox had written to request she come to Mournhold earlier than planned. It was announced that she would leave forthwith. She was given a grand rest to do, an extensive trousseau befitting a queen, and an elaborate and impressive ceremonial departure from the gate of the imperial city. Some people were sorry to see her leave and expressed their sadness in tears and expostulations, and some others were not, and did not. I'll continue with Volume 4 shortly before 2 o'clock, but now I'm going to proceed deeper into this dungeon.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Whoa! This is the part where you fall down. Oh!
You're...
He was here a second ago.
Greetings.
How are you? Die, damn you! best you can. Am I supposed to be impressed? You're perfect. This is the part where you fall down. This is the part where you fall down and bleed to death. Die! This is the part where you fall. Your presence here will not be tolerated. I'm just warming up, you pathetic worm. Die, cur! Hello? Who's there? Ah, you'll never take me down! Take that! Rah! Yeah!
There's a disagreement in the world of game streaming about whether this is actually prepared or unprepared activity, and whether the viewer should ever see the player making a mistake, or whether his play should be kind of flawless.
Nothing to worry about, I guess. Just my eyes playing.
In the unprepared world, the world of unprepared activity, unintended events occur, and people have to deal with it. An essential part of the wisdom is dealing with something that comes up that's not supposed to come up. And as a consequence, there's no clear script, and it resembles something like error correction. Something like customer service, say, which is nothing but error correction. Whereas in the prepared world, everything is more set up in advance, and there's less interest in error correction. Instead, people might perhaps be more interested in a flawless performance, where error correction is not an issue.
I'm just warming up,
and I
you
noticed
pathetic worm!
That in the game stream I've witnessed, the player in particular doesn't seem to die. And in fact, he never seems to encounter serious adversity of any kind. He doesn't reload the game, he doesn't get very baffled by puzzles, he doesn't sit around scratching his head, so to speak. It's a fairly flawless performance in the sense that he does not make errors. Which is...
Die, cur!
suitable for instructing children past in prepared activity, but according to my theory, doesn't help young adults wanting to be versed in unprepared activity. So it's certainly a school of wisdom, and perhaps it's better suited for books than gaming, in the sense that every event is scripted, it's supposed to happen.
Nothing to worry about, I guess.
Nothing is truly unforeseen. Whatever happens in the book, as a conventional story, a non-interactive story, it's supposed to happen. It's plotted, it's prepared for it. Whereas in the game stream, it applies to movies also. Books and movies. Whatever happens in a book or movie is prepared for and wanted. where the game, or arguably a traditional physical sport like football or basketball, unsought events happen, errors, so to speak. Technical, legal, even there could be a need for a referee to correct for these errors. You find that certain plays are illegal or require the responsible player to take a penalty. The other team can be handed points, victory in the game, because of a legal problem or because the strategy, their opponent took a strategy which just turned out to be a plain foolish idea. In the simple game sense, is right. So in physical sports, in say customer service or unprepared activity generally, errors are common, and error correction is common, and it's a special part of the experience. If you're not dealing with that, you're not learning how this important field works. Whereas in non-interactive fields like movies and books, and maybe sports movies or sports books, everything is prepared. There aren't any errors. Everything is intended.
Showing your face was the last mistake you'll ever make.
We ignore this entire issue. So I certainly, in my work, I favor the unprepared approach. I include everything,
Hello?
warts and all.
Who's there?
And I think the people actually prefer this to the other school. If they want unprepared, if they want something scripted, they go to non-interactive, like a movie or a book where everything's supposed to happen. But they go to this exact field, but they want to see something happen that wasn't supposed to happen. You want to see life in the raw. We deal with stuff as it comes up, without foreknowledge, without everything set up. That's an important school of wisdom capability, which requires its own kind of school. And I think game streaming is really meant to support that. If people want to see the error-free experience, you go to the other media, basically non-interactive, as I said, like books and movies. That's just what that intended for. This guy's really tough. Okay, I'm gonna focus on the game now.
Take that! I've fought. To arms! Well, well, look who we've got here. Hello? I've fought mudcrabs more fearsome than you! Huh? Do your worst! I've fought... Do your worst!
I think I finally dispatched him. Also, in regards to things like the full metrics of views, videos get. Sometimes it's a difficult question about what these views are supposed to mean. There's one school that says these views are the views that it does get. The videos said they get a certain number of views because they got that number of views. A descriptive interpretation. There's also an interpretation which says this is the number of views it should get because it's a good video. We want people to watch it even if they don't, and some says intuitively and immediately like it. That's prescriptive. That's say this is the target number of views, not the actual number of views, because this somehow is quality material which does it correctly, and we want people to watch, be encouraged to watch this. And if something else shouldn't be watched according to this interpretation, we will cite it a low number of views. We want people to not watch it, even if for some reason it does get a lot of actual literal interest. So these two interpretations should be borne in mind when considered information like the number of views a video gets. It's generally there are respectable ways of looking at that question which don't agree. It's actually more controversial than it might seem to be. And anyone who considers this question should be aware of the schools of thought on the subject.
I'm just warming up you. Where are you? Well, where are you? It's the fight you want. It's a fight you get. Let's get this over with!
Thing is worth a lot, but tremendously heavy.
best you can do? The best you can do? Right, damn you! Down!
I'd like to point out also that certain practices in business, if law requires something like legal indulgence, that is to say, they're not legal in some strict sense, but they require the law to say overlook a certain amount of transgression. And these practices, this indulgence from the law, I might point out, is not free. It has to be paid for. It is paid for by strong business. If not the business stray, the law will not grant this indulgence, no matter how traditional or customary it may be. The present business strike must exist, or the law is going to be as hard on these notional business people as it is on anybody. They're not going to promote their claims above the claims of anyone. Now, business strength, they would be forced to treat with the law as equals rather than as people who are entitled to indulgence. I'm afraid that is the actual political fact. If they have a problem with my product, and while legal indulgence stage to deny access to this product, then they have to give the public and the business world another product just as good or better to pay for the damage. If the other product is not here, then my product is not going to be interfered with. The business world and the consuming public will not stand for it. The other products must exist to pay for the damage, or this authority will not be granted.
That's the best you can do.
The authority to suppress my product will not exist.
You die! Die, girl! You will. Oh, bless. Do your worst. This is the problem. Won't you die? You're pathetic. That's the best you can do.
Killed the necromancers in Holly Cave. Return to the Shrine of Meridia. Yeah, I'm ready to leave. I'm gonna go back and report to Meridia, the goddess, at her shrine. I'll be back here. I took the wrong way.
What business do you have with Meridia, Lady of Infinite Energies?
Shrine of Meridia.
Meridia has spoken to you, and for that you are blessed.
Rumors.
What we do is perfectly legal. Others have no right to interfere. We serve her will.
Well done. Those creatures were an affront to all life, and I have paid the price for their actions. Take this ring and go with...
Meridia was gratified that I had performed the task assigned to me. As a reward, I have been given the Ring of Khajiit.
my blessing.
Alright. I'm still on my pilgrimage to visit all the shrines. And become a worthy knight and gain this splendid armor. I'm going to consider this Ring of Khajiit. Chameleon, 35%, fortified speed, 10 points. That's an excellent ring. The Grand Ring is its predecessor. The Grand Ring is its predecessor on my finger. The Grand Ring is speed. Fortified my speed by 10 points. It fortified speed by 10 points and offers a chameleon of 35% as a bonus. And now more invisible than before. Total chameleon of I think 45 plus 16, 35 plus 16, 46 51%. Let me check that. Yeah, 51. That's halfway invisible. Should be quite undetectable. Now, as for the... the shrine here I'm trying to visit, the Shrine of Mara, slightly to the west of this town here, and slightly to the north. A Skingrad. Could be to the north of the cursed mine here. I'll try going east again. See if I can encounter it. Maybe it's this thing right here. Be humble and live in peace. Pray at my chapel altar to receive my blessing. Yeah, I'm going to return to town and sell my stuff because it seems to be heavy laden.
What do you want, tree hugger?
Me? I'm Falanu, House Lalu, as if that matters here.
You're en route.
Good luck with your field work for Sindarian. What can I interest you in? That's more than I'd... Fine. You drive. That's a fair deal. That's more than I'd usually pay. A pleasure to serve you. Farewell.
Not so loud, please. What a headache I've got. I'm Agnet the Smith. The Pickled, they call me. Sure wish I was pickled right now. For the right price, I can make anything good as new. Well, have a look around. You won't find better prices in all Tamriel. Make it quick. Don't talk such... What? Yeah, I doubt it. What? What? Not... I doubt it. I doubt... Don't... Whatever you want. That's pretty good. Not... I doubt... Don't... No more. You're frightening me. Go... I doubt... Don't talk such... Don't. Please. What? No more. Not... I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt... What nonsense! What can I... You've got to be... Make me a better offer. You drive... Thank you. These... Seeing you. Not so... If I can't... You too.
I'm ready to leave. I'm going to resume my quest to visit all
What
the
is it?
shrines.
Who will help an old beggar? How are you?
My next shrine will be the Shrine of Debella here, just inside this one. That is coral. Here it is. Entirely to the east. Maybe here. There it is. I will approach it a foot in case there's something dangerous here. Love beauty and honor its mystery. Pray my chapel altar to thee, my blessing. I prayed at the way shrine of Debella. Now I'm going to Architage up here. That's slowly to the west. Off to the west. I started to the east though. I'm too far east. Here it is. Honor the nine and do your duty. Pray might have an altar to receive my blessing. The way shrine I prayed at the way shrine of Akatos. And now I'm going to Juliana's. Seems I have cleared this out in the past. Before we run here to the northeast. That is not actually the shrine. That's the Imperial City to the northwest. The burned out house. Well, it's right by the road. Here. Maybe here. Know the truth, observe the law, pray to my chapel altars, receive my blessing. I prayed at the way shrine of Juliana. Just for a little change, for a visual change, I'm going to travel without the camouflaging rings. I'm not going to Kinneret. Oh, you're out here. I was gonna follow this road for a while. I know this activity is subject to real mechanics, therefore I take contributions from their practice and intuitive faculties. However, it is mainly intuitive, and the intuitive faculties lead. In practice, it merely supported. It does not lead. In particular, I don't need help from domineering traders who want to make practice the leading component. Anyone who wants to train this should be an intuition leader, not a practice leader, because this thing is intuition-led. It's not suitable therefore for classical academic treatment, or for traders as such, who are practice-led. Whoever trains this has to be an intuition leader. Specializes in unprepared work. He specializes in prepared work. He's not suitable. I know there's a prepared component here, but it is subordinate. It does not lead. Any prepared person who wants to lead this has got the wrong idea. Yeah, but there's a little bend of the river here. Little bend of the river. Slightly to north to be the Shrine of Kinneret. Could even be up here, maybe. I'll try going north. I'll wait a few hours till daybreak, try to get a better view. Here it is. Actually, maybe not. I don't know. It is. Go carefully upon nature's path. Pray my chapel altar to receive my blessing. I prayed the way shrine of Kinneret. Next one's gonna be Talos.
How are you?
I'll go to Denethor first. To the north of this place, slightly to the west. Maybe here. You thought I went too far.
Show me what you've got. You move like a pregnant cat. Oh, what's
Maybe here, actually. Looks like another crash. Be right here. Here it is. Honest labor earns its own reward. Pray at my temple altar to receive my blessing. I prayed at the way shrine of Zenithar. And I'm going to go up north to Talos. I need to stop soon and read the final, the next volume of The Real Brenzia. Try moving down from here.
Jump on my sword while you can. I'll hack you to pieces. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, maybe up here. Be strong for war and fight evil. Pray much have altars receive my blessing. I have prayed at the way shrine of Talos. Alright, I'm kind of finished for adventuring today. I'm just going to read a bit and then quit. I'm going to read The Real Brenzia, Volume 4. The Real Brenzia, Part 4, by Anonymous. Everything I've ever loved, I've lost, Brenda thought despondently, looking at the mountain eyes behind her, her tired woman near her, in a hair. Yet I've gained a measure of wealth and power in the promise of more to come. Dearly have I bought it. Now I do understand better time perception of it if he has also paid the price. But surely worth his measure by the price we pay. By her wish, he rode on the shiny roan mare, clad as a warrior, a refooted chain mail, dark elven man. As the days slowly slipped by, the train rode the winding road eastward, setting sun. Around her gravelly road, the deep-sided mountain slopes. The air was thin, and a chill late autumn wind blew softly. But it was rich with the sweet, spicy smell of the late-blooming black rose, originated to Morrowind, and grew in every shadowy nook and crevice of its island, finding nourishment even in the stony veins and ridges. In small villages and towns, ragged dark elven folk gathered along the road to cry her name, specifically king. Those for nightly escort for Redguard, to keep high elves north and breeze. As they wove their way in the park of Morrowind, they grew increasingly uncomfortable and clung together as their sponsors, even the elven knights, being wary. But Brenda felt home and lost until the welcome attended her by the land, or land. Rocky met at the mournful border with desperate of time. But half of them were dark elven, in imperial battle dress, he noted. There was a grand parade of entry into the city and speeches of welcome from stately dignitaries. Outside the Queen's suite, refurbished for you, the general told her later when they reached the palace. You may change anything not your taste. We went on about the details of the coronation which will be held in her wing, with his old commanding self, but she said something else as well. He was eager for approval of the arrangement, was in fact fishing for it that was new. He had never required her commendation before. He asked nothing about her stay in the city or of her affair with Cyberception, although Brenzia was certain Relian had told him, or they had written him, everything in detail. The ceremony itself, like so much else, was a mixture of old and new, partially from the ancient dark elven tradition of Mornold, the other dictated by imperial decree. He swore to the service of the Empire and Cyberception as well as the land of Morzul and its people. He said with oaths of fealty and allegiance to the people, the nobility of the council. This last was composed of a blend of imperial emissaries, advisor, they were called, and native representatives of the Morzul people, who were mostly elder, in accordance with this element. Brenzia later found that much of her time was occupied in attempting to reconcile the two factions and their cronies. The elders were expected to do most of the conciliating in light of reforms introduced by the Empire pertaining to land ownership and surface farming, mostly went clean against dark elven observance. Cyberception, in the name of the One, had ordained a new tradition that apparently even the gods and goddesses themselves were expected to obey. The new queen threw herself into her work and her society. She was through with love and men for a long, long time, if not forever. There are other pleasures, she discovered, that the mind had promised her long ago. Those of the mind and those of power. She developed surprisingly, she had always rebelled against the tutors at the Imperial City. A deep love for dark elven history and mythology. Hungered to know more fully the people from whom she had sprung. She was gratified to learn they had been proud warriors and skilled craftsmen and cutting mages since time immemorial. Cyberception lived for another half-century, during which he saw him on several occasions as he had been in the Imperial City at one reason of state or another. He greeted her with warmth during these visits, and they even had long talks together about events in the Empire, when opportunity would permit. seemed to have quite forgotten that he seemed to have quite forgotten there had never been anything between them more than easy friendship and profound political alliance. He changed little at the years. Rumor had it that his mage had developed spells to extend his vitality. That even the one had granted him immortality. Then one day a messenger came with the news that Tyrus was dead, and his grandson Pelagius was now emperor in his place. And they had heard the news in private. She is the market. Sometime imperial general and now her trusted prime minister. Took it stoically and took most everything. Somehow it doesn't seem possible, Brendan said. I told you, it's the way of humans. They are short-lived people, it doesn't really matter. His power lives on, and his son now wields it. You called him your friend once. You feel nothing? No grief? He shrugged. You're the time when you called him someone more. What do you feel, Brenzia? They had long ago ceased to address each other and probably by their formal titles. Emptiness, loneliness, she said, and she too shrugged, but that's not new. I know, said softly, taking her hand. Brenzia. He turned her face up and kissed her. The act filled her with astonishment. She didn't remember his ever touching her before. She'd never thought of him in that way, and yet undeniably and ultimately warmth spread to her. Forgot how good it felt, that warmth. Not the scorching heat she felt from her redemption. The company, robust ardor, somehow associated with straw, of course, straw. She had thought of him in so long. He'd be middle-aged now if you're still alive. Probably a dozen children thought affected him. And party wife who was thinking about her too. Marry me, Brendan, so much was saying. He seemed to pick up her thoughts on marriage, children, wives. Work and told him he waited long enough, hadn't I? Married, with his dreams, the thought appeared to her mind, cleared and been. And he used those very same words to describe straw so very long ago, and yet, why not? If not to mock us, who else? Many of the great noble families of Morrowind had wiped out in Hyperdunction's great war of unification before the treaty. Dark Elven rule has been restored, not the old, not the true nobility. Most of them are upstarts, like the market, not even half as good as their race he was. He had fought to keep Mournhold whole in hell when their so-called counselors would have picked out his bones, touched them dry and even hearted but stuck dry. Each fought for Mournhold, fought for her, while she and the kingdom grew and thrived. He felt a sudden rush of gratitude and undeniably affection. He was steady and reliable, and he served her well, and loved her well. Why not, she said, smiling, and took his hand and kissed him. The union was a good one in political as well as personal aspect. But Iris's grandson, the Emperor, Vlad I, viewed her with a jaundiced eye. His trust in his father's friend was absolute. The Marquis, however, was still viewed with suspicion of Roman's disdainful. Cherry had his ancestry in the close ties of the Empire. The Queen was quite unshakably popular. Julie Brenzia is one of our own, whispered, not captive and free. Brenzia felt content. It was work and it was pleasure, and what more could one ask of life? And the years passed swiftly, and crises to be dealt with, and storms and famines and failures to be weathered. And plots to be foiled and conspirators to be executed, Mournhold prospered steadily. Their people were secure and fed, their mines and farms productive, all was well, save that the royal merit produced no children, no heirs. Elven children are slow to come, and most demanding of their welcome, and noble children more slow than others. Just many decades have come to pass before they grew concerned. The full lives of me, Marcus, undamaged goods, Freddy said bitterly. If you want to take another, I want no other, Marcus said. Nor do I know for sure that's all the girl. God said is mine. Whichever, we will seek a cure. If there's damage, surely may be repaired. How so? We dare not trust anyone with the truth, or our healers those who not always know. It don't matter if we change the time, circumstance. Whatever we say or fail to say, Jeff or the storyteller never runs. The gods invented his mind and quick tongue, ever busy, spreading gossip and rumor. Priests and healers and mages came to win, but all their prayers, potions, and filters produced not even a promise of bloom, let alone a single fruit. Eventually, they suffered from their mind, left it in the gods' hands. They were young adults went with centuries innocent. There was fun. With the elves, there was always fun. Bridges had a dinner in the great hall, eating food about on a plate, feeling bored and restless, walking away, amid someone to the city by Tyrus' great-great-grandson, Uriel Septimer. What is his great-great-great-grandson? She'd walk out into your eyes. Their faces seemed to blur one into the next. Perhaps she could have gone with him. It would have been the delegation from Tyron, and a tiresome matter that nevertheless required a delicate handling. Bard was thinking and also all about Brenda wasn't listening. Lately all the talking, the saying to her, whether new or old, Then turned and praise caught our attention. He was thinking of freedom, of adventure, of freeing more away from his chain. How dare he? Brenda himself straight and turned to glare at them. Words he realized he was thinking of something ancient. And to now immaterial war with the Skyrim North, praising the heroes of Kings Edward and Morlid, and their brave companions. The tale was old enough, certainly, yet the song was new in its meaning. Brenda couldn't be sure. A bold fellow, this far, with a strong, passionate voice, and a good ear for music. Rather handsome to in a rap sort of way. He looked to be well off, exactly. Nobody all that young. Certainly couldn't be under a century of age. Why she heard of him before, at least heard of him. Who is he? She inquired of a lady in waiting. The woman shrugged and said, "Call himself the Nightingale, my lady. Knows even know anything about him. Be to speak with me when he has done." The man called the Nightingale came to her, thanked her for the honor of the Queen's audience and the fat purse she handed him. His manner wasn't bold at all, she decided, rather quiet and unassuming. He had quickened up his gossip about others, but she learned nothing about him. He turned all questions away with a joking repulse, a ribald tale. Yet these were accounts so charmingly it was impossible to think of that. "My true name, my lady, I am no one. No, my parents' name be no one, or was it nobody? What matters it? It matters not. How many parents give names to that which they know not? I believe that was a name known not. I have been a Nightingale for so long, I don't remember since, last month at the very least. Or was it last week? Oh, my memory goes this long. Tell you, see, my lady, I've done enough for myself. I'm really quite dull. Was I born? Why, nowhere up until in Dunroman when I get there, but I've been nowhere. I see you was at Mary a tall show. Very protective of you, my lady, perhaps. Will I find in haste, quite charming too, as well. Oh, you're a fickle then. Like the wind, my lady, I blow hither and yon, hot and cold, a chance is my suit, not elsewhere as well on me. Princess smiled. Stay with us a while then, if you will, my lord, or not. As you wish, my lady, bride. After that brief exchange, Brenda found her interest in life somehow rekindled. All that seems stale became fresh and new again. You read it each day with that, looking forward to conversation with the Nightingale and the gifts of his song. Unlike other bards, never sang her praises, nor other women, only of high adventure and bold deeds. When she asked him about this, he said, "What greater praise of your beauty could you ask, my lady? Is that which your own mirror gives you, and if words you have those are those greater than mine, Count. How should I vie with them? I was born but a week gone by." For once they were speaking privately. The Queen, unable to sleep, had summoned him to her chamber that his music might soothe him. "You are lazy and coward, Sarah. Oh, I hold no charm for you. The lady, to praise you, I must know you. I can never know you. You are wrapped in enigma and clouds of death. Nay, not so. Your words will be enchantment. Your words and your eyes and your body. Know me if you will. Know me if you dare." He came from them. They lay close. They kissed. They embraced. Not even Berenzia, and truly knows Berenzia, he whispered softly. "So how may I? The lady you speak and know it not. No yes and what would you have? Yet say that you have it not. Passion chances back. Passion and children born of it. And for your children what birthright might be there? Freedom, she said. The things should be what they would be. Tell me you see why there's these eyes in you. And the soul in this then. Where may I find these things? When life was not you, the others beneath thee. But would you dare stretch out your hand? Do I take what could be yours and your children's? Samaka? In my person lies the answer to part of what you see. In my person lies the answer to part of what you see. The other lies hidden below us. Indeed, your very kingdom is mine. That which will grant us the power to fulfill and achieve our dreams. That which Edward and Morland between them used to free High Rock and their spirit from the hateful domination of the North. If we properly used, my lady, none may stand against it, not even the power of the Emperor controlled. Freedom you say, Berenzia, freedom it gives, but the chains that bind you. Think on it, my lady. He kissed her again softly, and withdrew. "You're not leaving?" She cried, her body yearned. "For now," he said, "flesh of the flesh of nothing behind what we might have together. I'll have you thinking what I just said. I don't need to think. What must we do? What preparations must we make? Why, none of the minds may not be entered freely, it is true, but with the Queen at my side, who will stand us for? Once below, I can guide you to where this thing lies and lift it from its resting place." The memory of her endless studies slid into place. A horn of summoning, she whispered, "No, is it true? Could it be? How do you know? I read that it's buried beneath the measureless caves of Daggerfall. Nay, long have I studied this matter. Ere his death, King Edward gave the horn for safekeeping in the hand of his old friend, King Morlin. He in turn secreted it here in Mornhold on the guardianship of the god Ephraim, whose birthplace in Valley went. Now you know what it has cost me many a long year and weary miles to discover. But the god, what of Ephraim? Trust me, my lady heart, all will be well. Laughing softly, he blew her last kiss and was gone. On the morrow they passed the guards the great portal that led into the mine and the throne was below. Under pretense for complimentary message, Berenzia, unattended but for the nightingale, ventured into the cavern after subterranean cavern. Eventually they reached what looked like a forgotten steel doorway, and upon entering found that led to the 18th part of the working long abandoned. Going with trusted for some of the old shafts, had collapsed, and the clear passage to the robot find a way around the more impassable tunnel. Vicious rats and huge spiders appeared here and there, sometimes even attacking them. For the truth, no master Brendan's fireball spells of the nightingale and quick dagger. It was gone too long, and Brendan said at length, they've been looking for us. What will I tell them? Whatever you please, the nightingale out. You are the queen, aren't you? The Lord shall mark it. Death tends to phase, whoever holds power always has, always will. Always will. We shall hold the power, my ladies. The sweetest one. But fine. Now, take me now, I'm ready. Her body seems to hold me, every nerve and muscle. Not yet, not here, not like this. Waved around, indicating the age, nothing to breathe, pure mold. Just a little while longer. Suddenly, Brendan nodded her thing. They were doing it. Here, he said aloud, pausing for a blank bare. Here it lies. He scratched a ruin in his dust, other than weaving his spells, he did stone. The wall is all the real, the entrance to the ancient shrine, they admit. To the statue of a god, hammer in hand, and poised above it, and adamantium man little. By my blood effort, the nightingale cried, I bid thee waken. Whirl is the air of ebon heart of my alas, the world lies shells, thy blood and more with last need, with all of elven wood and dread peril of their selves and souls. Release to me thy guerdon which thou guardest. Now I do bid thee strike. At his final words, the statue glowed and quickened, the blank stone eyes showed a bright red. The mountain's head nodded, the hammer smote the anvil, and split asunder with a thunderous crash. The stone god itself crumbling. Brendan clapped her hands over her ears and crouched down, shaking terribly and moaning out loud. Nightingale strode forward boldly, clapped the thing and lay him on the ruin as the roar of ecstasy lifted his heart. Someone's coming, Brendan cried in alarm, the nose for the first time what it was he was holding lost. Wait, that's not the horn, it's a staff. Indeed, my ladies, he truly at last. Nightingale laughed loud. I'm sorry, my lady sweet, but I must leave you now. Perhaps we shall meet again one day. Until then, Sir Marcus said to the man-sized figure and appeared behind him. She is all yours. You may claim her back. No, Brendan screamed. She sprang up and ran toward him, but he was gone. Winked out of existence just as Sir Marcus, claymore drawn, reached him, his blade cleaved a single stroke through empty air. He stood still as if taking the stone god's place. Brendan said nothing, heard nothing, saw nothing, felt nothing. The Marcus was half a dozen or so elves and accompanied him that the nightingale and Queen Brandy had lost their way. They had been set upon by a giant spider, and that the nightingale lost his footing, fallen into a deep crevice which closed over him. That his body could not be recovered. That the queen had been badly shaken up by the encounter, deeply mourned by the loss of her friend, had fallen into her defense. This was Marcus's presence, power commanded, black-jawed knight, none of whom thought more than a glimpse what had happened. We were convinced that it was all exactly as he said. The queen was escorted back to the palace and taken to her chamber, whereupon she dismissed her servants and waiting. She sat still before her mirror for a long time, stunned too distraught even to weep. The Marcus stood watching over her. You have any idea at all what you have just done? He said finally, quietly, coldly. You should have told me, Brendan whispered. The staff of chaos never dreamed of late here. He said, I'm yielding against the lips. He doubled over in despair. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? What's happened now? What's become of me, of us? Did you love him? Yes. Oh, my soul, I can God have mercy on me, but I did love him, but no, I don't know. I'm not sure. Marcus' Carline face softened slightly, and his eyes glittered with new light in his eyes. I know something then. You have become a mother yet if it's within my power. As for Brenzia, my dearest Brenzia, I expect you have loosed a storm upon the land. To be a while yet in the brewing when it comes, we weather together, and we always have. Came over to her then, he stripped off her clothing and carried her to the bed. Out of grief and longing, her feeble body responded to his brawny one, and it never had before, waiting forth all the nightingale to awaken the life in her, and in so doing calming the restless ghost, so all began to stroll. It was empty, and then stood still, for a child was planted and grew within her. As the sun flourished in the room, so her feeling towards patient faith was devoted to the market, which was rooted in long friendship and unbroken affection, which now at last ripened into the fullness of true love. 8 years later, they were again blessed, this time with his daughter. And directly after Nightingale's death of the staff of chaos, the market sent urgent secret communication to Uriel Shepton. He had not gone himself, normally, choosing that to stay with Rendia during her personal period of closet of sorrow. With his further staff, he suffered Uriel Shepton's temporary disfavor and unjust suspicion. 5% source of the thief, the Nightingale seemed to advance when he had come, wherever that was. Dark elf in part, perhaps, said Rendia, but more human too, I think, as his god. whether or not it comes so quickly to fertility. Dark Elf for sure, innovation runs high in lineage, and else would not have been able to breed the staff, so not to breed it. He couldn't have cared effectively. I don't think he would have laid with you. As Elsie did not dare, then he would not have been able to part from you. He's found. He turned serious, but he knows the staff lay there, not the horn, and then he must teleport to safety. The staff's not a weapon that would have seen him clear like the moon. Praise the gods, at least he does not have his eyes. He seems older than they expected, but how does he know? I placed the staff there myself with the aid of the right tag and the raw lion flat, and not this king of Kala Evenhard as a reward. Our reception claim is one. We'll look at staff and say, keeping an eye on the nightingale, use the staff to see the stripes possession wherever he goes. If he wishes, yeah, that low when I gave him that line of horn and the ability to use it. I'm not so sure it's power on the nightingale speaks. President says all the power like this, keep the power away. Not I, chance, I will have found out with I suppose. Alright, that's it for today. This should be available around 4 p.m. today, and the next video tomorrow I'll show up at 6. Updated for Larkin, and that's all for now.